Hello. We're Having a Stroke, the podcast where a guy with severe ADHD struggles to get through a single sentence while the other one watches in awe. I'm your co-host, Dominic. With me is Joey, and our guest today is this guy, Chris.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, coming in from Chicago, Illinois, weighing an indescribable amount of pounds because I don't know what his actual pounds are. I'm not going to describe it. He is the tag team partner in my heart. It is Chris.
Oh, Joey, that's the sweetest thing you've ever done. Hi, my name's Chris. Happy to be on the podcast, fellas. Really looking forward to this.
That was the best intro I've ever seen in my life. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah. I've been thinking about doing that all day.
that was insane. That was really, really awesome. I love that.
All right, so welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, I was really excited. I remember, Joey, you explained to me the concept of this podcast like way back during the summer, I think. And I was immediately hooked because I have ADHD as well. So I'm like, oh my God, I got to get in on that at some point.
Yeah. So Chris and I also met through college. And it's funny because I feel I should mention this now. This is probably the most focused theme we've kind of ever had going into a podcast episode because we have a certain amount of this episode is going to be dedicated to a weird. It's not weird. It's a niche of ours that we both love, Chris and I. It's called professional wrestling, and it's pretty fucking hype as shit.
Yeah, Joey brought me on here under the pretense that we'd, talk about it a little bit. Like, obviously not like over exposit about it because it's a whole thing, but like it's how we kind of like got to know each other and like bond as friends. So.
Oh fuck yeah. So going into this, Dominic.
I know.
Hey, bud.
So unfortunately, I don't have any updates on the broken TV. That's
no
still
updates
broken.
On the TV.
No, it's still broken.
I'm so invested in this plot of your broken TV.
I'm so shook. No. But unfortunately, I think what's funny is that since unfortunately nothing's happened, I don't have very much to talk about aside from the fact that I've turned 21 recently, and I just...
Hey, that's a pretty big deal.
I know. The beer in my fridge is no longer illegal, so I'm feeling better about that.
Wait, dude, you can go out... Now you can go out and buy spotted cows. I'm fucking jealous.
It's true. It's at every grocery store. It's crazy. For those who don't live anywhere in the Midwest, Spotted Cow is this regional beer from Wisconsin, which is just this really mild lager, but it's like a really solid beer that comes out of Wisconsin. And in Chicago or any of the neighboring cities, it's hard to find, but in Milwaukee, it's everywhere. So.
My younger brother, he goes to college over at a University of Wisconsin, actually. So my dad is always like asking him to like bring home some Spotted Cow or whatever, just so he can try it.
Dude, tried. I have a lake house in upper Wisconsin that I've been going to my entire life, and I've somewhat recently got into drinking beer, and just like I love the taste of it. It's so good. Like.
Mm-hmm. Of beer or Spotted Cow? Well, I mean...
Of Spotted Cow, I meant.
It depends. I mean, like, I'm not, like, I don't drink personally. Do you guys have... So I'm not, like, I don't really have a dog in this fight, but do you guys have, like, preferred drinks, or...
This is why I get exposed on the... This is why I get exposed on the podcast, because as Dominic knows, I'm a lightweight and I like drinking White Claws. So
yeah, you are.
Yeah,
I
kind of already knew yours, Joey.
So many.
I know,
Discord
but now
calls.
the public knows.
He's like 3 White Claws in, and he's already like stumbling over words. We're like playing Smash, and he's like barely functioning. It's awesome.
We have an entire quotes list on a separate Discord server of my just fucked up ramblings. One of my favorite ones I said being, if I were to create the ideal man, I would. Fuck. What was the?
Well, I mean, you could pull
I
it
don't
up.
know.
You got it.
I
You got it
wasn't
right
there.
now.
You don't ask me.
No, I know you weren't there. Like,
I might have been drunk when that was happening too, so I don't remember either.
fuck, I don't remember. But like, I think it was something about if I were to create the ideal man, I would. Fuck, I can't remember. Damn it!
Are you gonna scroll through the? You could scroll through the Discord.
I'm
right
not gonna
now.
do it.
Okay.
Fuck it. I do remember there was one time. Fuck. Let me go through the quotes list because it's really fun.
Go ahead. To fill this in, I'm also going to say that preferably, even though I've just very recently turned 21, my preferred beer is a Modelo, just because I really like cooking with beer, and Mexican beer is a very good one. Is a good type to cook with.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I like to reduce,
Gotcha.
like to use it to reduce vegetables and meats and stuff, but I also like to drink it. So
Interesting. That's really, really cool, honestly. I forgot that you can cook all kinds of amazing things with beer.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
we got
it's
beer
actually
cheese
insane.
soup. Beer cheese soup.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting on turning one to get a medical card, hopefully.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yo.
Or, just at the very least go to a dispensary. But even though they're crazy expensive in Chicago right now, it is ridiculous.
Are these weed dispensaries, just for clarification?
Yep.
No, they're heroin dispensaries.
Oh.
No, they're weed dispensaries.
Okay,
Yes.
fun fact about those. I was trying to buy a gift for my godmother this past December for Christmas, and I thought that I could get a gift card to a weed dispensary near me.
Oh boy.
So I went in, asked, and obviously they have a security kind of check place in the beginning. So I
I
went
got a checkpoint.
well, it's something like that. Like, I went in and asked, hey, do you guys have gift cards? They said no, and I was like, cool, and they walked out. So that's the most
God.
experience I have with a weed dispensary.
Damn.
I mean, that's fair enough. I mean, I haven't. A lot of people I know don't really have, personal experiences there because, obviously, in college, not a lot of us are 21 yet, so
Right.
not really any chance of getting anything there. But also just for the fact that, just, funds wise, it's much easier to just find somebody else who's trustworthy and reliable. You always want to be safe about stuff like that, and I'm not even just saying that as a gag.
No, this is
you
just
always wanna be
legit
as-
life advice.
That's just
take it into
life.
consideration.
Like,
Yeah, you don't want to end up getting anything that's laced or whatever.
you don't want to get the
Luckily,
mumps.
exactly. Yeah, I'm trying to.
mumps.
Mumps.
What the fuck?
You don't want to get the scrub.
I'm about to put Rubella in this motherfucker.
You don't want to catch scurvy. But, you always want to be safe about where you find your supply.
Dude.
Of weed that is. I feel like now I should specify.
It's a weird intro to our podcast.
Don't do hard. You've had me on the podcast for I don't know about 10 minutes, and I'm already talking
So you're
about
talking
hard
about
drugs.
weed.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I don't see how this is a problem at all. This is totally fine.
Yeah, man, it's a part of my process at this point. I've found that it's helped. It's helped with anxiety related things. I mean, I'm already on Zoloft to begin with. I'm on that, and I also take Focalin for ADHD.
Right, really? You
so
take
what-
Focalin?
Huh.
Yes, I take Focalin.
Okay.
I was on I believe I was on Adderall for a little bit when I was first diagnosed. But then they switched me over to Focalin not too long after, and I kind of just stayed on that.
This is
Really?
where
'Cause,
my
like-
drug experience flies totally off.
Really.
Yeah, but from my experience with bad drugs and stuff and the bullshit, I've only known Adderall ever since I was diagnosed, and it's strange because this is the first time I'm hearing of this. What was it, Fentanyl or something?
Focalin, yeah. I mean, it's I don't know if that's the precise name for it. It has a much longer name, but I don't recall what it is. But It I just like take it first thing in the morning, and like, you know, part of the whole reason like that's kind of iffy and like what's hard about like, you know, trying to find what prescription you need when you're neurodivergent is that like it's kind of a gamble, you know, just in terms of like what messes with your system and what doesn't.
Right.
But for me, like it helps me function just fine. The only thing is that it just devastates my appetite. Like I can't take that thing on a super empty stomach, or I just won't eat for the whole day.
I also had that same exact thing where like I've developed from it actually from like taking Adderall throughout like all of most of high school. I have developed this really bad habit of skipping lunch, and I'm trying to correct that slowly by slowly. But yeah, it's that like so I see that like both those drugs kind of have the same like side effect of like appetite
Appetite be gone.
Appetite be gone. I can't talk.
Services.
We're having a stroke, ladies and gentlemen. It's
I know,
a
this
great
is
time.
Now we've hit the show. There we go.
Exactly.
Now we're in it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is again, this is another thing I was excited to be on the show for, is just discuss, because I love talking about ADHD with other people who have it, because you can always spot somebody who does, you know.
Oh yeah.
Like if you've got it, you can always kind of tell. And
So
then when you actually start like discussing it, it's super interesting to like pick people's brains about it, you know.
Right. The weirdest thing to me that I remember there was this one time where I was talking to my dad late at night, and like he came back from like a little get together with his old college friends, and he was drunk a bit, and we had a talk about my ADHD, and for some reason he was convinced that I had ADD, and he said he never realized that I did because I never like showed any symptoms of it, and I was like, like it was a very interesting conversation I had with him, just because like I experience ADHD every single day of my life because of just like how I get distracted sometimes, and like even on episode like 1 how like I was fiddling with shit, and I'm to this still fiddling with shit, and it was funny because like I was like, dang, like he never realized like the side things. I just found it interesting.
I like how I feel like for a lot of people, like that sort of understanding of ADHD is like very minimal, because like I feel like that's a lot of mental illness in general, but it's just strange how like that one is specifically, because I feel like it afflicts people, and I feel like it's very obvious when it comes to schooling, at least in some cases, you know.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the environment that like a lot of people tend to notice it the most.
Oh, of course.
I think it's in day-to-day, just kind of like, you know, everyday stuff that like people don't really consider how it affects that, you know, and that's when you kind of have to look a little bit closer, I guess. Yeah, I mean that's the part that I feel like most people kind of don't understand, and a lot of people kind of like overgeneralize about it. But and it's the same way for a lot of people who are like neurodivergent or whatever. I just found out what that word means like earlier this year.
I still don't know what that word means.
Despite being, it's like this whole kind of spectrum type of deal with like ADHD, OCD, you know, autism, like different like neurological.
Your brain's different.
Exactly, yeah. And I had to ask my friend what that meant, and I think that having to ask somebody what neurodivergent means is the most neurodivergent thing that's ever happened to me.
The brain realizes it's conscious.
Oh fuck!
That's the thing. It's like a really recent. It's a relatively recent term, I believe, just because people hadn't researched it enough to the point to know that everything kind of fell on that similar spectrum, like in the same way that like other kind of, or like more serious like mental disorders kind of fall into that same, you know, fall into similar categories, I guess, you know.
Right.
But you know, oh, I'm sorry. There was a butterfly outside my window. I just got distracted.
Are you serious?
No, I'm fucking with you.
Wait, Why am I so gullible? It's winter right now. There's no fucking butterflies out.
No, it's okay. That's my favorite like stupid ADHD stereotype is like just getting distracted
There's a
by a
butterfly out there, yeah.
just butterfly for like
Butterbah.
20
Look at that
minutes
butterbah.
because it legitimately happens to everybody.
I was assuming you just collected butterflies, and that's what I thought was going on.
No,
I was just like, holy shit, this is something you
No,
gotta get into.
I don't collect butterflies. I do collect action figures actually.
Yeah,
as a
you
matter
do.
of fact. Yeah.
I
collect,
know this because you gave.
Transformers to be precise.
I also know that. I also know this because he gave me two of them. Gave me Spooderman and Scorpion.
Yes, I was selling a bunch of my Marvel-related figures just because I was moving to my new apartment, and space is like a factor in my life. So I was like, I should get rid of some of the stuff, or just kind of sell them, just make sure that they have a good home. And I gave this figure I had of Spider-Man as he appears in the PlayStation 5 PlayStation 4 Spider-Man game.
The Yuri Lowenthal one.
Yes, exactly.
I see.
With like the big white symbol on the front or whatever.
I love that Spider-Man design. I think that's probably honestly, I think that's probably my favorite suit design for Spider-Man.
It's very, very cool. I don't know which one I'd have to pick to be my favorite, but that one's very good.
It'd be like that.
Yeah.
It'd be like that. There's so many Spider-Men now. Spider-Men and women. And
Exactly.
pigs.
Yes, we've extended into farm animal and robots.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
Oh, God, that I'm so freaking excited for Across the Spider-Verse, dude. You have no idea.
It looks so good.
Dude, Spider-Man
Oh, my
2099 just jumping Miles Morales out of nowhere.
I am still surprised that Spider-Man 2099 wasn't a part of like the base cast of characters for the first Into the Spider-Verse.
Well, he's kind of a big deal, I think, relative to the other ones, and like his story is a lot more complicated and like well developed than a lot of them. So I feel like having him in there kind of like they would have had to dedicate more time to him, I guess,
Right, but the only thing I was thinking of was that like he's like the most iconic multiverse Spider-Man in my opinion.
I'd argue. Are we talking? Are we including Spider-Women in that, or just Spider-Man?
Oh, we can, yeah.
Okay, because I would say Gwen is probably more iconic than he is at this point. Like, I know he's been around longer, but like realistically, like she's probably more popular. I will say this about him though, just judging by that trailer, dude's been eating.
Dude be jacked.
He's huge. What the hell? He's so big. Like, what the fuck has he been eating?
That man's shoulders could support all of the UK. Like.
He's so huge. Oh, dude, I swear to God, they're gonna put Spider UK in there, and they're gonna have like Michael Caine like give like one line for him, and that's it.
But it's spelled out in the British phonetic way, so it's not Spider-Man, it's Spoider-Man.
Spider-Man. It just showed like, hello, my name is
Spider-Man.
Hello, my name is Peter Parker, and then that's it. Like he's gone after that. He doesn't even get
Parker,
like
it's
that
Parka.
Parka.
Peter Parker.
Beat up. No, it's beat up.
Yeah, there you go.
Parker.
Yeah, no, that's that movie's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
Very happy about that. Fuck. Well, excuse me.
This show is too cohesive, I think.
What's that?
I think the show's too cohesive. I'm amazed. There's actually a lot less strokes than the last time we recorded, and I'm proud of both of you.
I have to confess something. I have a little bit of practice because I work in radio. So.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that at some point. Chris over here is probably the most professional kind of person we're gonna have on the podcast. Never say never, but like, yeah, Chris is in radio, and I figured that like that also would be a great reason to bring him on, just because like he has experience of like, as we said in like the first episode 0, talking for days. So, yeah.
We have a professional.
Yeah, I'm not like a like a paid professional or anything.
But like you have the experience.
Oh no, nothing about this is paid.
Yeah, so like, yeah, rest assured I'm not getting paid for this. But I did a radio for WLTL, which is the radio station at Lyons Township, the high school I went to. And now I'm hosting a show for Radio DePaul. And I've done a couple of podcasts like here and there for like through like radio stations, like written material for them and whatever. So I haven't like done like big like radio stuff, but I have worked in like, streamable radio and continue to, thankfully. Here's hoping. But
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah, but this is gonna be my ticket out of it. I was like, we're having a stroke podcast. This is gonna be my next step.
Hollywood.
I would like to mention that I sent Chris the link to episode 0, and he had the exact reaction of, and I quote, "This sounds awful. I'm in."
Yeah, I said like, dude, I'm like, dude, this is so painful. I love it. I want to get in on it. Because it just sounded like you guys had fun, honestly, and that's what this is all about. At the end,
that's what it's all about.
That's why I got into it. It's doing fun. Yeah, it's just having fun. I said doing fun. You can't do fun.
Hey, he's had a stroke. Let's go.
Yeah, we got him.
It seems as though I've scheduled fun for today. It's only a matter of time. No. If you listen to if you listen to my show, I have plenty of strokes on there because I don't tightly script it at all. So I'll just be sitting there, and it sounds like talking about a movie, and it'll sound like I've gotten to the bottom of a Wikipedia article, and I'm trying to like catch up. Like I'm like, and anyways, I digress.
Well, this first reference was made by this article in the Encyclopedia of Britannica.
I just start reading off citations. Just
dude, it's like playing the Wikipedia game. It's like at the very end, you're getting to that bottom line.
Oh my god. Oh, the Wikipedia. I remember. Have you guys played? I mean, there's like a million different versions of this, but have you guys played like 6 Clicks to Hitler on Wikipedia?
No, I haven't.
No, I have
sounds
not.
Awesome.
So 6 Clicks to Hitler is like, so you start at the front page of Wikipedia, you click random article, and then you see if you can get, by clicking hyperlinks, right, from article to article.
Oh, it's that thing.
You see if you can get to the Wikipedia page for Adolf Hitler in less than 6 clicks from whatever random article, in 6 clicks or less than whatever article it sent you to, like whichever random one you got.
Oh my god!
I remember I think I managed to get there in like 4 from Super Mario Sunshine because I super lucked out.
What?
Well, yeah, because it's like.
Guys, Mario's a fascist, confirmed.
Well, no. Well, that would have been
Mario,
even quicker.
Italy, fascisma.
Wikipedia doesn't want you to know about that, so they don't have that on there. But I think it was like because Nintendo, Japanese company, Japan, World War II, Hitler, boom.
Oh my god.
See.
I mean,
good Lord.
When you describe it just makes sense.
Well, yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. I got lucky, and I got. Super Mario Sunshine, which is a game intrinsically linked to Hitler. So, as everybody knows...
Well, that's a fucking t-shirt.
Super Mario Sunshine is fascist propaganda.
Super Mario Sunshine's intrinsically linked to Hitler.
Exactly.
Oh my god, Chris, I love you. Oh my god.
God, we have so much merch we need to make now. I realize we had
make that.
At least 2 or 3 quotes from the last podcast.
Well, one of them is obviously Marky Zucky.
Marky Zucky. That's another one.
Marky Zucky.
Dude, Joey, what if you have one? It's like the Bullet Club T-shirt, but instead of Bullet Club, it's like Stroke Club for life. It'll catch on like wildfire.
And with that, it's time for me to say the joke that I've been meaning to say this whole entire podcast.
What are you trying to say?
All right, here, hold up. Sorry. Let me strap in my seat really quick. Hold on.
He's got a belt.
Ladies and gentlemen, this part of the podcast is no longer we're having a stroke. This part of the podcast is now we're having a shoot.
We're having a shoot. For those of you who don't know, in pro wrestling, when somebody goes off script, they call it a shoot. because and since Joey and I are fucking marks for ourselves, we're gonna fucking shoot.
Wow. I'm glad you guys teamed up on that one. I'll leave you guys to your game.
No, get in here.
Oh, dude, Dominic is he strapped himself in like fucking John McClane in Die Hard 2, where he like ejects himself out of the plane that's about to blow up. Dude, have you seen Die Hard 2?
My parents and I watched it over Christmas. That was the worst CG I've seen in a movie in a very long time. It was so bad.
Dude,
it was so fucking funny.
Is that the Die Hard movie where like he's looking back at the fire on like a chair and it looks really shitty?
Yeah, I think that's the ejector seat that we're talking about.
Yeah, so, he ejects out of a plane that's about to explode.
A description
as he's
of what
going
happened.
In the air. Yeah,
a description of what happened. It's a holdout plane, and it's like these bad guys are like, "We know you're in there, McClane," and they fucking like huck a grenade through the window, and McClane's like in the cockpit, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And so instead of like a sensible person throwing the grenade back out the window, he fucking straps himself in the chair, presses an ejector button, I think, and then shoots up in the air with the explosion.
Yeah,
and it's the cheesiest effect. And my parents and I were all just like, why don't you just throw the grenade back? Like,
because John McClane.
Why not?
John McClane, I love how you
so
like
much time.
You compare that to when like in the first movie he walks across broken glass because he assesses the situation and sees that there's no other option to like his oh my god, excuse me, in this spur of the moment like thing where he's like, oh my god, I'm going to die here. I literally only have seconds to react to this. That's what he decides to do. And
like a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon.
Exactly. And
I'm a genius.
And also, considering how it worked, technically a more sensible option than him trying to run out through the plane, because it would have exploded by the time he got out. So
oh my god, it's so fucking funny.
Die Hard 2 is so fucking good. Anyways.
So something about wrestling?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I feel like before we go into our wrestling topics, we need to tackle the elephant in the room, and that is that wrestling is fake.
Wrestling
No.
is... Now, wrestling
You're
is...
a fraud.
Now, here's the thing about wrestling. Wrestling is... It's athletic performance art, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
like the way I describe it to people is that it's theater.
Yeah,
it's literally theater in my mind.
But yeah, it's all about storylines and characters and all that. But here's the thing. Even though everything about it is predetermined, like the stuff that happens like in the ring is like, you know, they're legit like throwing each other around and like
they're
kicking each other
me
in the head. Yeah,
they're
exactly.
smacking me.
So it's like, I feel like calling it fake almost kind of does it like a disservice to like how like dedicated and how like painful it is, you know?
I wouldn't say it's fake, but more that it's not what it seems. Because I feel
Exactly.
like people are like, oh my god, it's like this dude's about to die, like he's being like fucking slammed into the ground like so hard that he passes out and shit. It's like, it's nothing like that. It's just not what it seems. It's more about story than it is. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's absolutely predetermined, and at the same time, it's nowhere near realistic by any means.
Right.
But the guys are still taking like bumps and like jumping off the top ropes and shit, and like, you know, taking steel chairs to the back or whatever. Like, you can't really work that, you know?
You can't fake that, really. Like,
yeah. They're now obviously they protect each other in the ring. Like, if it, like, say the Undertaker does like a tombstone pile driver where he like drives a dude's head into the mat, obviously the dude's head does not make anywhere near contact with the mat because they found a way to like protect it, you know, but it still looks devastating, which is why it's so impressive, you know, and why Joey and I are so into it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And also it reminds us of fighting games as well. That's another thing I feel like I should
That's
mention.
another thing that like we have both an amazing passion for that we might have a second episode on, but fuck it. But I asked Chris before the podcast, and I also came up with my own thing, is to come up with a promo and a match to get someone into wrestling. Now, a promo is when a wrestler is like with a microphone in the ring talking to the audience and like giving off their character. Or as we call it in the industry, or or as they call it in the industry, the gimmick, the thing that makes that wrestler that.
Yeah, it's to build up to a story, and it could be an in-ring segment, it could be backstage. Point is, the wrestler is talking, they're basically monologuing to build up their match, right? You know? And it's a huge part of wrestling is being able to talk, you know? Being able to get yourself over with the audience. But, yeah, and then just, obviously, the match is just the actual in-ring stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But, Joey, do you want me to go first, or would you like to go first?
You can go first because I'm actually interested in your answers.
Okay, so mine are kind of based on what I got into when I got into wrestling. So I got into wrestling in high school. So this was back in the mid 2010, like when I first got into it, it was around about like late 2015, early 2016, and my matches are not going to be like, you know, old school like 80s, you know, territory wrestling or whatever.
Right.
It's like pretty modern stuff, all things considered, because I feel like the best way for modern audiences to get into it is through the best of modern wrestling. So for my promo, and this is again, this isn't just because I'm biased and I'm from Chicago, but this was one of the most important promos in wrestling history. CM Punk's pipe bomb from Raw.
Yeah! The second you said I'm biased because I'm from Chicago, I knew you were going to say the fucking pipe bomb.
Yeah. So CM Punk's pipe bomb CM Punk is a very, very good, very famous pro wrestler from Chicago. And the pipe bomb was a promo he cut where he basically went completely he went in with completely no script and just aired his grievances about his job in WWE on live TV, and it really blurred the lines between what was, you know, that was like one of the first times in like modern history where people actually were like, oh shit, was that real about like a pro wrestling thing, you know? So that's
much. If I may add for a second, so much so it was so real that he mentioned rival companies to the WWE,
which was like
TNA, Ring of Honor, and New Japan Pro Wrestling,
which was like a big no-no at the time because WWE was very, very anal, I guess, in 2011 about like, you can't say that wrestling's happening in other places. That's not true.
That's not real.
But yeah, that's my favorite promo, or the promo I'd recommend. And now the match, I'm so sorry, I could not narrow it down. I narrowed it down to 2. Okay.
Okay.
So my first one, this is from 2004, I believe. CM Punk versus Samoa Joe from Ring of Honor, Joe versus Punk 2. Absolute masterpiece in every regard. This is like what independent wrestling is about. Like, this is my pick for like independent wrestling in terms of like, you know, because that's a big part of it. A lot of people are just familiar with WWE, which is like wrestling at its most like produced and most kind of made for TV. But like, you still have like independent stuff where it's like nice and grounded, just dudes trying to, you know, make money or whatever and putting on a great show. So there's that. But my other one, because I did want to recommend like a big time match, but it's still not a WWE match, and that's going to be from New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom 14, Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles.
Yes.
This one's just great wrestling. New Japan Pro, like, if you were to ask me like what the best wrestling of all time was era wise, I would say like 1993's All Japan Pro Wrestling. But if you want to talk to me about like what the best wrestling in the world today is, I'm gonna say like late 2010s New Japan. And to a certain extent, New Japan still to this day, I think they're probably still on top. But yeah, just wanted to pick a match for that. So
is Japanese wrestling what I think it is?
What do you think it is?
What do you think it is?
Because I'm assuming it's like what the American like WWE style wrestling is, but like hype. It's just a little bit of a cultural difference. That's what I imagine. It's something like it's hyped up to like what it is for the Japanese audience, and that's what I think. Is that what it is?
In terms of presentation, you're spot on. Yeah. In terms of just like how it's presented, like at live shows or whatever. There's so much crazy production values that go into it.
Yes.
Style wise, they're a little bit different because WWE.
The way.
So there's two different styles of Japanese wrestling. In terms of like in-ring stuff, there's Japanese strong style and King's Road style. King's Road style is kind of similar to WWE, where it's like very kind of like lengthier matches that are more based on like selling and like storytelling, you know? Whereas Japanese strong style is more about the matches tend to be a little bit shorter, except for the main events. They're long as shit. But they're more about more like stiff, intense like strikes and throws, basically making it look more real, like more snug in terms of like more legit kind of physical stuff, like a legit fight, I guess, rather than like theater.
The one thing I will add about New Japan is that they go way fucking harder than America for one big reason to me, and it is so in like WWE and AEW, and I don't know about Ring of Honor, but I imagine they do this too. Chris, you can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but they have very like thin tables whenever they get them out.
Oh boy.
And they're like they're meant to be like gone through, like so it's like safe for the wrestlers, and like people have like commented before that it's like
they gimmick the tables so that the wrestlers will go through them easier. So when a wrestler hits the table, it'll just break in half just like that.
Yes. So like that, then like a lot of people from the industry have said that like taking a bump on a table is way like softer than a bump on the mat on the ring.
Unless you're working in New Japan.
In which case they have like, so Dominic, how thick do you think your desk is right now?
Ooh boy. Well, it might be similar to a WWE table. It's pretty thin. It's like
cool,
like a quarter, half inch maybe.
Cool. They have like inch thick tables that they drive motherfuckers to in New Japan,
and they don't.
Oh, no.
And also they're like real tables that they don't gimmick. So if you're going through that table, you're going through hard way, like for real. And like it's so funny that they insist on doing that, because like the only other like Ring of Honor was like really inconsistent with it because they're kind of like an indie company, but like a lot of independent shows, like kind of like middle of nowhere, like trash wrestling deathmatch promotions. That's another thing, is like hardcore wrestling. That's a whole nother spectrum. But they'll do that where they just get legit tables, but that's because they don't know how to gimmick anything, you know. So
right.
But regardless,
it's
hardcore. We're gonna, you know, I'm gonna do a DDT from the top rope onto a pillar of fluorescent light tubes. That'll get me over with the crowd.
I'm gonna barbed wire my fucking bat and smear it on your forehead.
Vince is gonna sign me tomorrow. So Joey, I'll let you give your picks.
Yeah. So my picks are It's funny because one of mine was from like the early 2000s, and the other is somewhat fairly recent, within the last 5 years. My pick for my favorite for a promo to get someone into wrestling is a promo that happened on SmackDown between Eddie Guerrero and Brock Lesnar, in which case Eddie Guerrero was accused by Brock Lesnar for being an addict, and Eddie Guerrero goes into this like passionate speech about how yes, he used to be addicted to drugs, but now he cleaned himself up and he's caring after his family, and his new addiction is being in the ring. And I can't really do it a service, but it's a very good promo that's very like character driven and passionate.
Yeah, and it is straight from the heart, because like it was based on like, you know, real life incidents where Eddie Guerrero had been fired because of his drug problems, but since he got clean and started working on the indies, they signed him again after 5 months because he had legitimately cleaned up his act. So it was like a really heartfelt and like kind of like passionate sort of thing. And you know, it got the audience, the live crowd, into it, which was really important, you know.
Yeah.
I never thought smashing people in the tables would make like a grown man cry.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, well, I mean, the smash. Well, the build up to it is what makes a grown man cry. The going through a table is it makes you just laugh and like have a good
Be
old
like,
time.
yeah.
This man has overcome all odds.
Through the table, just douche, just done.
And then my match, Chris, I told you both of mine beforehand, but I switched up one of them.
Oh, you did.
And my match, I would say, was from NXT Takeover New York, I believe, and it is between Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with Gargano
And
versus Andrade from Philly.
Initially, I went with Johnny Gargano versus Andrade in Philadelphia, but in my opinion, I like the story a lot more of the Johnny Gargano Adam Cole match, mainly just because it's just this man going up against all odds and just like doing his best against something that seems like it's impossible.
Yeah,
and I love that story.
I was really tempted to pick a. There were a few matches from NXT that really, really like tempted me because NXT was a big part of me getting into wrestling. NXT was WWE's developmental system where they also it was from oh god, what was it like?
Oh god, he's having a stroke.
It was from 2014. Like I'm talking like its peak years were like from 2015 up until like 2019, the end of 2019, right? And
it was really good.
Yeah, it was like homegrown guys and the best of the independent scene, you know, and that was what really got me into wrestling. And yeah, but there were a few matches from NXT that I still haven't shown you yet, Joey, that like were really, really tempting to me.
I need to watch way more.
Oh, dude, next time we hang out, we're watching Takeover New Orleans, bro.
Oh, fuck yeah. Mm-hmm. But enough... fuck, what was I going to say? Wait,
You just had a stroke. Oh, my God.
Fuck! But there's also, like... One thing that we also should go over that I really like is, like, the storytelling that matches can tell. And I think a perfect example of this would be one of my favorite like storytelling in a match, like very well done, would be from WrestleMania 6 and WrestleMania 8 between Bret the Hitman Hart and Rowdy Piper. And at this point in both their careers, Bret the Hitman Hart is the new up and coming kid in the company. And Rowdy Piper is like in like the nearing end of his peak years in the company.
He's gone off and done like They Live at this point, like the John Carpenter film. Like he's out the door, you know.
So they hold this match, and it's basically like, will the old guy in his career beat the new kid, or what will happen? And throughout the match, Piper realizes that he can't really keep up with Hart. He keeps like
with Bret, yeah, because Bret's like this in-ring, like, you know, like technical, you know, like he's like a prodigy, like he's one of the best of the best, and Piper's like, he was like this kind of one of the more legendary bad guys of like the early territory years. But like all of his kind of like underhanded shit like isn't working on Bret. Like Bret's too perseverant, you know.
So what he does is he starts cheating. He like knocks the ref out and like starts like doing like spitting in his face
like
and
old
shit.
like old school Piper shit, you know.
Like he starts doing all this shit that like gets him the upper hand, but he's cheating and the audience is horrified with him. So much so that he's a heel. He's like throwing him at the stairs and like doing all this shit. And it culminates in this beautiful moment near the end of the match where the referee is like knocked out in the corner, and so he can't see shit and he can do whatever he wants. So he goes to the corner of the ring and grabs the bell that rings the match. And Bret the Hitman Hart is on the ground, and he's like beaten, and he has the opportunity to just knock him out with the bell. And he raises it above his head, and then he stops. He stops, and he looks around at thousands of people
and like,
in an arena match horrified with his actions and booing him.
And it was like it's like it had this weight behind it because Piper had gotten those same reactions like years earlier. Like people hated him, but he had come up until this point. He had kind of started to win people over, and now he's back at square one. He's the guy that everybody hates again.
And in that moment, he realizes, what have I done? And in one of the biggest pops of his career, he throws the bell to the side outside the ring, helps him up, and like continue through the match clean. Where, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, he ends up losing, but it was still a very good match.
Yes, Bret Hart beats him for the Intercontinental title, so this is for a title as well.
Huh.
And I'm really glad that you brought that up. That was an amazing pull, Joey. Like,
It's such a good match.
Yeah.
Like, just, it's such a clear story told through, like, wrestling.
Probably also the single good match out of I'm being honest, a shit WrestleMania.
Oh my god.
That
WrestleMania 8 is awful for one clear...
Okay, do you mind if I tell you... Are you talking about the Papa Shango thing, or...
No, I'm talking about the fact that the top two people in the company at that point was the face of WWE.
Oh, Hogan and Flair didn't fight. Yeah.
And Hulk Hogan, they didn't fight.
I was just gonna point out the fact that Sid main evented 2 WrestleManias, and both times it was such dog shit. And
such awful matches.
And like both times, like, okay, so Sid's only ever appeared at 2 Manias. He main evented both of them. The first one was against Hulk fucking Hogan, and the second one was against The Undertaker, both of which were terrible matches. Oh my god, it was so bad, dude. But yeah, no, that wasn't very good. But yeah, regardless, that was an amazing.
It was probably the best match of that. I have that whole WrestleMania.
I'd argue it's probably my favorite. Like, I haven't seen a lot of his old school stuff, but but in terms of like in ring work and like storytelling, I'm gonna say it's my favorite Piper match. Honestly,
it's so good.
It's not my favorite Bret match, but it's definitely my favorite Piper match.
Also, I feel like at this point we should also acknowledge there is a lot of dumb shit in wrestling.
Oh boy.
So, Dominic, what do you think would be the most ridiculous thing to wrestle against? Because I've got 2 of them.
Oh, all right. So like a creature? Is that what we're going into this territory?
Think of anything.
Yes, like it could be somebody's like an occupation that somebody has. Like, oh, like wrestling. It'd be weird.
Oh, that's not where I'm going with that, but I'll go with that too.
Oh, wait. Okay, never mind. I know where you're going with this.
I'm going with is there is a wrestler that got his start in New Japan called Kenny Omega. And he is one of the CEOs and founders of AEW World Wrestling.
Let's just cut to the chase. This guy wrestled a blow-up doll in front of 300 people.
Not only that, but he also wrestled a 9-year-old girl.
And if you think that's funny, and if you think that's amazing, his tag team partner wrestled an Invisible Man.
What?
He wrestled a man that didn't exist. He just took bumps for thin air.
Man, I thought mine was stupid. I was about to say a snowman because I was like, "Oh, what did you do as a kid?" Oh yeah, I used to beat up snowmen.
There also was I forget if he was in WCW or WWE. There was a wrestler that was like a typical mummy-looking guy.
Oh, that's the Yeti. The Yeti.
And he's called the Yeti.
Or as Tony Schiavone called him, the Yeti. If you're talking about Snowman, well, in WCW, no, I was gonna say Glacier, but he was like just a straight up like Sub-Zero ripoff. Like, so part of the funny thing about wrestling is like, so back in the 80s and 90s, when wrestlers would have gimmicks, they were like so not nuanced that they would just be like, oh, this guy's a wrestler, but he's also like a garbage man or a cop, like cartoon characters, basically.
Very 80s.
Or one of my personal favorites, IRS, who's just a tax collector. And
yes, there was a guy whose name was Irwin R. Shyster, whose initials, you guessed it, IRS.
I didn't know it was initials.
He's Bray Wyatt's dad, if you can believe it.
Wait, really?
Yeah, he's Mike Rotundo. He's Bray Wyatt's dad.
Honestly, there's no man there's no man that more people fear than the IRS.
Oh my god, dude! I remember I saw I think it was at SummerSlam '92, the one that they had in the UK, right? And IRS would have he'd cut the same promo every fucking show he was on, and he would always just be like, "Oh, you tax cheats, you don't, trying to." He basically just chastised people for being broke and not paying their taxes. But he's in the UK, and he cuts that promo, and it's like, people in the UK, they don't pay their taxes. It's taken out for them, you idiot. cut literally any different promo in your goddamn life for once.
Read the fucking room, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
what other funny shit has there been?
Well,
there's Santa Claus.
Okay, dude, don't, dude. Balls Mahoney deserved better than that, bro.
He did, but this gimmick is really stupid.
Boy, dude. I gotta actually, Joey.
Okay, wait. Before we go on, I need to clarify. Santa Claus is Santa's evil brother from the South Pole.
This never made it to TV, if you can believe it.
Straight to DVD.
Yeah, this was a live event only thing, because basically. Sometimes if a wrestling company that has TV, like a TV show, they do like house shows, which are like untelevised events where they'll just like road test new stuff to see if they get reactions out of the crowd. The cloud and Smash.
Clouds and Smash,
but surprisingly enough, Balls Mahoney in a Santa costume did not make it to TV. And it's funny when that guy, who portrayed the Santa Claus gimmick would go on to have better success as a guy whose first name is Balls, who hits people over the head with a steel chair.
I feel like that whole sequence, I felt like I had literally just had a stroke. I could not remember what happened in the previous 5 minutes.
I love how we came on here with the intent of talking about the best of pro wrestling, and Joey and I have immediately segued into some of the most bafflingly stupid parts of wrestling with no context provided.
I need to get into this. Speaking of the worst things, I need to get into this next one because this feud should have been really good, but it got really stupid because of one match. So on the right, the Royal Rumble is a match that happens every single year. Where it's a 30-man people get into the ring and it's an elimination match where you throw the guy over the top ropes and they get eliminated, and you keep going until there's one guy left, and it's famous for having grand returns from people. In 2018, I believe, one of those people who made the great return back to WWE is an icon named Rey Mysterio.
Even people who aren't into wrestling know who this motherfucker is.
I know who this guy is.
Yeah, exactly. He's so iconic that in the World Cup, what's the World Cup?
WCPW World Cup, yeah.
In the WCPW World Cup, he was put into the Mexico tournament of that Mexico tournament bracket of it, even though he was born in Southern California.
Yeah,
that's how
he's one of the most popular
he is.
luchadors of all time. And don't get me wrong, he is Mexican, obviously, but
he is, but at the same time,
one of the most important luchadors of all time. But regardless, I'm curious to see where you're going with this.
So he comes back, and he is one of the biggest. Okay, so the term babyface is someone who
you're a good guy. You're a good guy.
You're a good guy. You're a good guy, and you for the most part will always be a good guy.
Yeah.
And you're a face of the company.
I thought you were just making fun of him for having a round face, and I was like, dude.
Well, he does have a round face, but he
does have a round.
He wears a mask, so it kind of offsets it. But whatever.
Yeah.
Don't talk about how round his head is, bro. He gets. He
gets fucking six. He gets 619 you in a second.
We want damage in the ring, not outside of it.
Exactly, not emotional damage. Dude, that'd be okay. I'm so sorry to sidetrack for a second, but if I were a wrestler, that would be my gimmick. I would actively avoid. I'd be a heel, right? I would go actively avoid wrestling, and I would just cut promos trying to inflict like deep emotional damage on my.
So you'd be was it Sean Spears with a broken arm?
No, that's Shane Douglas.
Shane Douglas, fuck.
Did you just call? Oh my. All right, I'm not gonna. I can't right now. You had a stroke. It's fine, but not the same guy. Anyways, what happened?
So Rey Mysterio, one of the biggest babyfaces in the company
Of all time, yeah.
of all time. On the other hand, enter Seth Rollins,
Yeah.
someone who has made a name for himself on the indie scene under the name Tyler Black. He is a rising star in WWE, soon one of the greatest heels for WWE. And
he's
he's
such a good wrestler, and he's so annoying. Like
he's so annoying.
He's one of those great bad guys where even though he's amazing in the ring, just the fact that he's this snarky dickhead, you just can't root for him. You know,
you can't root for him.
It's like, you made I fucking. But anyways, yeah.
So he's also one of the rising stars in the company.
Yeah.
And so I present you with these two great people, and you'd think it would make a really good feud.
Mm-hmm.
Only one problem. The match they have to end the feud is a match that WWE has never done before.
Or since.
And it's called an eye for an eye match. In which case, the only way to win the match is to gouge out your opponent's eye.
What?
And they do this like backwards fucking pageantry where Seth Rollins does his signature move, the curb stomp, which is exactly what it sounds like, on Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio, like, it's on like the steel steps, and Rey like covers up his eye, and they like a fake eye, like they have like a fake plastic eye, like
they have a fucking ping pong ball,
like a ping
come out.
pong ball with a little black Sharpie on it pops out, and it's like, this backwards fucking pageantry is the reason why WWE has competition nowadays. Like,
and the worst part about it was that Rey Mysterio, from that point on, for a little while, he had a fucking eye patch over his mask,
like built
and
in.
it looked terrible. And the funniest part, they retconned it.
We should probably move on, because sooner or later we're just from wrestling, just because I feel like we're gonna get to like the get to like the Al Snow Big Boss Man Kennel from Hell match, and I that's a path I don't want to go down.
So I figured that if we're changing topics,
Dominic, were you gonna say something or
no? Okay,
no, wait,
so
Dom.
Sorry. So while you guys were talking about wrestling, which I know is very interesting, and I was listening to it, but in the middle of it, I realized there was something that I forgot to talk about.
What was that?
That popped up. So a week ago, this is a little bit of a storyline for me. So a week ago, I ordered some cup ramen because I fucking, I'm in my studio because the work that I do, I have to go to a studio, and it's easier just to have like food and coffee at your desk. So I had a little setup for some hot water, and I was like, you know what? I should buy a cup ramen and get that together. So I ordered it a week ago. It said it was going to ship like last Wednesday or something. And it never showed up, and I was like, all right, I just assumed someone stole it, because it just happens every once in a while, especially when you live in a city.
Right.
So I was like, all right, well, that sucks. I guess I'll just buy some ramen at the store if I can get my hands on it. Today, I was about to go out on a bike ride, even though it's like super cold. It's a long story, but I was stuck in the house and wanted to get out.
Yeah.
I fucking opened my door, and there's a package at my front door, which is super rare because you have to go to a mailroom and stuff to grab stuff. But I picked up the box and I was like, holy shit, I think this is the ramen that I must have gotten. And so I opened it. And I thought I got like a, cause all right, on the top of it, it's not a normal cup ramen logo. Okay.
Okay.
So,
A foreign menace.
No, so, it was golden on the top, and it like had a golden cup ramen on the label. And I was like, what the fuck did I just get my hands on? But then I actually spent time to read it, and it said, you enter this code here for a chance to win a golden cup ramen cup worth $5,000 apparently. So I read that, and I realized this might be my journey to try to get a Golden Cup ramen because
Oh my god.
I've been cheated by this company before. Now, I know you're into action figures, Chris,
Yes.
but what's great is that I'm into more model making. It's part of my job, and it's part of what I do.
Quick, just a quick question. I don't mean to sidetrack, but do you,
No, please.
by any chance, build like you said model making? Do you build Gundams at all?
I have recently started building a Gundam, and I've been building more of them.
Same. I just started building as well. So, yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah, exactly. And for my like artistic background, like I love painting them and customizing them. But there's one kit that was released by Bandai, which was literally a cup noodle. It was literally a cup noodle in model making form.
I almost spit out my drink. What the fuck did you just say?
So you just build it. You just like build.
It's literally a cup of ramen. So it has the packaging and all the text and wrap around the styrofoam cup. It's like a separate plastic piece that you assemble together, and you make this plastic cup ramen. And I wanted it so bad.
That sounds
It came out in
awesome.
2020. I fucking wanted it so bad. I tried to pre-order it. I like lost the pre-order on Amazon, and I have been defeated ever since. And I'm trying to find it still. And this is my chance to redeem myself. I'm getting that fucking golden cup. I'm
Dude, you're on
so
the-
angry about this. I'm getting that son of a
This
bitch.
is like the national treasures of like cup ramen, you know.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm
that's
King Ramen
insane.
now. I'm gonna
I am
get
on
that
a
fucking
journey.
golden cup right now.
Dude, you're gonna
So-
get that. It's the Nintendo World Championship of ramen cups, like dumbass gold cartridge and shit.
Yo, let's go.
That's a
Let's
deep
fucking
cut. That's
go.
a deep cut video game reference for you, but
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's just what's been going on in my life. I just totally forgot about that because I was so wrapped up in the wrestling part. But I was
dude,
like,
that's the most.
wrestling.
I'm glad you brought it up. That's the most epic shit I've heard in a while, dude.
it's the most epic shit in my life so far.
That's insane.
It's going great. Like,
I'm in my early 20s and like this shit's adding up fast. Like, goddamn. Oh, dude, that's
So-
insane.
Anyways, Joey, I'm sure what you're about to talk about is good, but I'm getting a golden ramen cup. There's nothing you can do to stop me, and I'm gonna try to figure out how to get one.
all right.
So go ahead with your story, I guess.
That's insane.
So I feel like another pivot we could do that both of us could be very interested in, because I know both of you, and I feel like
boy.
this will be a very good conversation. Is angry video game nerd and nostalgia critic.
All right. So I feel like there was a time in my life where like so much of my like I didn't use YouTube for anything else other than AVGN, like for good. And I'm talking like when I was a kid, you know,
Right.
Like, but I mean, I always have fond memories of AVGN, you know. That Doug Walker, he's something else, isn't he? You know,
He is something else.
dude.
Oh,
I remember you showed me, Joey, the picture of you with Doug, and I was so caught off guard. And fucking Rob was there too. That sent me. You didn't tell me that you met both Doug and Rob Walker.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
I remember going to school and him on his Snapchat just being like, "Hey, yo, look at this," and I was just like, "What? Where and how and why? How did you do that?"
Listen. You've got the Coen brothers. You've got the Wachowski sisters, and you got the Walker brothers. All right.
You got the Walker Brothers.
Filmmaking legends, all of them. All right. You got
They've made
sibling power,
iconic characters like Santa Christ
and Neo,
and Devil Boner. And,
you know,
and Devil Boner,
and Angry Joe.
Angry Joe,
Angry Joe. Oh my God, he's a personality I've never quite cared for.
dude, oh my god. I still remember that fucking interview he did with what's his fucking name? He runs the Game Awards.
Hell if I know.
Anyway, he's interviewing this one guy like who's like very in touch with the gaming industry, and he's talking about like, oh, there are RPGs coming out, and he was like, there are no good RPGs coming out next year, and the guy was just like, I don't know. There's like Final Fantasy. There's like all this, and they like roast him a little bit, like
Oh,
on
I know what
camera.
you're talking about. Yeah.
And then Angry Joe made a video about it where like he showed the interview and cut to him being like, "He's ruining my career. He's ruining me. He's fucking me." I'm like, you fucking idiot. Like,
Fucking ruined my career. He ruined my career. He just be one to me when I said there were no good RPGs coming out. Now I'm mad. I'm so mad.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah.
I'm Angry Joe. I make videos on YouTube. Who the hell are you?
you fucked it up.
Who the fuck are you? You're nothing.
You're nothing.
You're nothing.
You're
You're
nothing.
nobody. You have no talent.
No.
Oh my god.
I don't know that whole channel, awesome crew. I remember I saw an interview with my boy Guru Larry not too long ago. Hello, you. I'm Guru Larry. And
Yeah.
he was talking about, because if you look at the Channel Awesome website, there are only 2 people that are listed as being, like, aside from like Doug and his whole crew or whatever. There are only 2 independent content creators that are still listed as being employed by Channel Awesome, technically. Cinema Snob and Guru Larry. And Guru Larry recently stated that the only reason he is still on that website is because back when everybody was leaving and getting fired, they forgot to fire him. And he's been waiting it out ever since as a meme just to say he could. Like, just to see how long it would take for them to remember, wait a minute, why is Larry still employed by us? Get him out of here,
Oh,
And
God.
he's still there.
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah, no, they haven't
Still
noticed.
there?
Yeah.
What if they're memeing on him?
Yeah.
They realize what the joke is and they're just like, well, we're not letting you go.
Meanwhile, he's sitting across the Atlantic Ocean just, oh, I'm so clever. They don't know I'm still employed. Wait till they find out. Then I'll have a good laugh. And then,
They don't have a fucking clue. Like,
oh my god.
oh my god.
But yeah, I mean, so like, I mean, were you guys like into that kind of stuff like growing up?
I
at all,
was-
or, like,
I'll be honest. I was a nostalgia critic guy, and also my
Yeah, you
tastes were really shitty back then.
well,
I have a
don't-
love-hate. I have a love-hate relationship with him. In all honesty.
I don't really blame you. I know a lot of people that were like really into his older stuff because it was nice and like back when like it was just kind of like him just like sitting in front of a blank wall talking about old movies. It's like it kind of seems like it just wasn't anything more than it needed to be, and that was like really easy content to get into.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I personally, like, for me, I was more into the angry video game nerd. Mostly just because, like, of my background, like, with living in, like, the Philly area and stuff.
Right. Right.
So, like, in that East Coast area, I was more, like, associating with him and, like, that whole crew. Because there's just something very, like, genuine is, like, almost kind of a, I'm not sure if that's the word, but it is something that's just like, it's crazy and ridiculous, but it's like in the best possible way, I think, like as a kid.
See, well, first of all, I totally agree with you. Second of all, I think just like the way he covered like his subject matter as well.
Oh yeah.
Just the way he talks about like old games and like kind of knows his history. Number 3, I feel like, now this is just from like a film studies perspective, I think that James Rolfe is a better filmmaker than Doug Walker is, or that like he just kind of gets it a bit more.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
just number 4, this isn't a reason, but like, just, it's funny you pointed out the whole like regional thing because, coincidentally enough, like Doug Walker's a Chicago guy. So like Channel Awesome is based out in like Lombard. And I think it was in like Downers Grove before that, which are like both like suburbs outside of like pretty far outside of the Chicago area. But, they're
Right.
Chicago land.
exactly. They're not part of, but either way, they're in the immediate vicinity, I guess, So I just think that's kind of weird that like they might resonate with different people just depending on like, if it's a regional thing, I guess. But
It's a word of mouth thing. I think that's what's funny about the internet back then. And like, I mean, I guess sort of is to this day, which is that the internet is still fairly regional to where you live, because you can have
Absolutely.
people that yeah, they like bring down stories of people from word of mouth and be like, hey, have you seen this website? Have you seen this Instagram page and whatnot? And I think that's what like drives a lot of taste to this. Pre-pandemic. I mean, that was what drove a lot of people's taste was like, hey, have you heard about this?
Right.
Yo, have you heard about this Nostalgia Critic guy? He screams in a chair about animated movies. Funniest shit I've seen in my life.
He said something about big lip alligator moment.
He said a big lipped alligator moment. Oh my god. Dude, there are some times when Doug Walker like legitimately convinces me he just like doesn't get movies sometimes. Like I totally believe him like when he's passionate about them and like that he's into
Why
it.
does it look like Vegas?
I feel like he just doesn't get like certain very fundamental things about film.
Oh yeah. Well, I know one thing's for sure. He doesn't get too much about The Wall. I know he doesn't know too much about that.
Oh yeah,
that is fucking review.
that I have like no defense for. Like there are some like weird things about Doug Walker that I will stand up for. Like the Nostalgia Critic Wall is genuinely one of the most hated things like of mine. Like just one of my most hated pieces of media.
The funniest part about that whole entire fucking video is that he basically rented out fetish characters to use in his fucking video.
He did?
He did? No, yeah, because if you look back, okay, I know you don't look back at like the Wall review.
If you look back at Doug Walker's The Wall, you'll see this very new
pile of shit.
Okay. But like, if you look at like all the fucking furry characters he uses in that fucking sequence, albeit they're all very well animated, but all of their fucking designs, like all the like characters have like wide mother-bearing hips and fucking
right.
big bellies and shit, and like,
bro,
I'm like,
I need to fucking watch this now. Why must you do this to me? I have to do that now,
dude. You got me.
I want to know what you're talking about.
You can't get me bricked up on the podcast like that.
I'm advertising the Wall review on the podcast. This is my worst sin ever.
Oh my god, dude. We're not advertising. We are slamming the shit out of this.
We are slamming the fuck out of it. It's so stupid.
He really doesn't like. I don't know what was so compelling because like he's reviewed like other like, you know, like music related movies before, but I don't know if he just didn't feel compelled or like creative enough to like, because he reviewed like Cool as Ice and like Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, which I mean I know there are like big fans of Moonwalker out there, and like to be fair, Moonwalker did give us like the Smooth Criminal music video, which is fucking amazing.
It's so godly.
Like he never went like all in on it from like a music. Like that's the thing. He's not even fucking with the movie at that point. Like he wrote.
He's just making fun of the album.
Yeah,
like,
he wrote all the lyrics. Like he wrote the lyrics. Like he has his visuals just parody what happens in the movie. He wrote the lyrics to take the piss out of the songs. So this is like he personally really doesn't like The Wall. You know?
Yeah. The funniest fucking lyric in the entire fucking thing is when he the funniest fucking lyric in the whole fucking thing is when he says like the whole like Oscar baiting song, and like the fucking album was out like way before the movie was, and it couldn't even be like nominated for it. It's so stupid.
That'd be like if he. Oh my god, So, like, one of my favorite films is, because of what it means to me, is the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. And I legitimately dread the day that Doug Walker will catch a glimpse of that.
You want to know what You know what
Yeah.
I'm dreading right now that I'm thinking of right now? I'm dreading the day he reviews Baby Driver. I'm dreading that fucking day so much, because I love that movie so much.
Oh my god!
Imagine just Doug Walker sitting with like his fingers pressed together like Mr. Burns. You know how he always does. Now here's the thing about Kevin Spacey. You know.
What are the chances Doug Walker will ever listen to this?
If we add him on Twitter, it probably might be.
Okay,
dude.
Listen. I'm gonna do this. This isn't just to advertise the podcast, and I'll keep my word on this. In order to contribute to this effort,
Oh, no.
My show's
No.
on Monday.
Oh,
My
God.
show's on Monday at noon on radiodepol.com. Check it out,
Oh,
Studio
no.
2097. Every single show for the next week until winter quarter is done, I am going to dedicate the outro of my show to cutting a pro wrestling promo on Doug fucking Walker. All right? Doug Walker, you no good son of a bitch. If you're the man you think you are, you'll face me and the boys from the We're Having a Stroke podcast in a tag team match.
Oh no! Oh no!
If you think you got the nuts, Doug Walker.
I was wondering when the first in-person thing we would do on this podcast would be. I didn't realize it would be this.
It's gonna be having a tag team match against Doug
Or
Walker.
beat the shit out of Doug Walker. Yeah,
Dude, yeah,
Oh,
no, we could take. Listen, I'm
I gotta
not.
drive all the way down to Chicago to do that one too.
Dude, do you remember like way back in the day when they like did the whole like kind of, and this is like sort of a pro wrestling thing that they did where they did the whole like you know, like fake beef between like the Nostalgia Critic and Angry
And
Video
AVGN.
Game Nerd. Like
Yeah.
where like AVGN would be at like a signing or whatever, and like Doug Walker would show up there without
Oh
telling
my
him
God.
in
Oh my God.
character
The
as
weirdest-
the Nostalgia
the
Critic, just be
weirdest-
like nerd. And
The weirdest part about those fucking videos is that there's a video of him like showing up to one of them, and like him of Nostalgia Critic being a fucking dumbass and showing up to one of his signings, and then like they like say they're gonna fight in the parking lot, and then they go to the parking lot, and and they deadass in real time do a slow-mo fight between Nostalgia Critic, Angry Video Game Nerd, and some random ass motherfucker in the middle that's also doing slow-mo for no fucking reason. It's so weird.
who's this guy who has to third wheel in on the fucking feud of the? Oh my god.
Some guy.
Dude, Joey, you remember the freaking promo package for like Rock and Austin at Mania X7, you know, with like the My Way by Limp Bizkit, you know, like the You
Oh, yeah.
Think It's Special.
My
Can you
way,
imagine
my
that?
way.
Can you imagine that? But it's fucking James Rolfe and okay, I gotta ask you. So in the feud between The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, James Rolfe and Doug Walker, who would be The Rock and who would be Stone Cold?
Oh my god.
I'm extending this question to both of you, just based
Okay,
on
so
you don't need to know
so
anything
here's-
about wrestling,
here's
just
the-
about
here's
these
the
two
pro-
guys. Yeah.
Here's the problem with it. The problem is that we have to associate one of these legends with Doug Walker.
I don't
That's
care.
a big
I don't
problem.
care. I don't care.
I'll take him on anyways. Oh my god.
Um,
Wait, Stone Cold and who else?
Stone Cold
Stone
Steve
Cold and The
Austin
Rock.
and The Rock. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fuck.
I'd say
Okay, the problem is that they're both over, and like Doug Walker is not over.
he's
No,
very
he's-
under.
Yes,
He's
Doug
very-
Walker is so under. I would have to say that just in terms
my knee jerk reaction is AVGN is Stone Cold.
Yes, I was gonna say that's for mostly just because of the language and like the middle fingers, you know.
and beer.
yes,
beer.
the beer as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Instead of cans, it's just Rolling Rock. He just smashes them.
yeah. And
Oh wait, no, this works out great because Doug Walker is a dumb version where like it tries having these catchphrases that go over, but in this universe they don't go over at all.
exactly. Doug the Rock Walker. Stone Cold James Rolfe. And then
No, you know what that is? That is the title of the podcast. That title of
Yeah,
the
that is
episode right now.
absolutely the title
oh
of the
dude,
podcast.
featuring
Doug the Rock Stone.
dude, featuring motherfucker Mike as Vince McMahon.
Wait, who's
and,
Santa Christ?
I was gonna
Santa
say
Christ? Oh.
I was gonna say Linkara as Mick Foley, but you know whatever.
I think it might be Pat
Linkara.
NES Punk.
Oh my god, no. Pat the CM Punk.
Let's go.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
He just
I mean,
likes
you know.
NES games, bro.
We're about to fucking beat up Doug Walker, apparently. So
Listen, I haven't made the I can leave you boys out of the promo when I cut it this Monday
because
now,
the
if you want.
problem. No, because we're gonna be bitches if we don't. We're part of the podcast.
Somebody's gonna look back at like people are gonna listen to this podcast.
This is
and then they're gonna
recorded.
yeah, exactly. People are going to listen to this podcast and then they're gonna hear my show and they're gonna be like, oh well, see the guys on the podcast must have backed out. I can't do that now. Shit.
Suddenly our show has gotten so much traction.
Exactly. Ever since
We got all our traction from the DePaul radio.
ever since that guy from Radio DePaul went on and cut a promo on Doug Walker. Like,
Oh my god.
oh, dude, I'm actually gonna script this. I'm actually gonna script this for my show. I'm gonna
Please do
write.
so.
I'm gonna think of my promo in advance. And
It's also a good writing exercise.
yeah, no, dude, I remember when I was like in high school, I would think about shit like that because I was in this thing where people would do this thing called like they're called like eFeds, which were online. They're basically like kind of role playing games for like online role playing forums for like pro wrestling promote. Like people would make like their own promotion and like submit their guys to be in it. You know, you'd make up your own character and they would be in like this kind of promotion, and whoever would run the forum would like book, you know, the matches or whatever. And I would like write promos or whatever for like my guy back in like the eFed or whatever. So now I'm gonna have to like dust off some my old you know promo.
Dusting off an oldie.
Exactly, yeah. But I'm gonna have to adapt it in the event that I'm gonna, you know, get in the ring with the Nostalgia Critics.
Yeah, you're actually gonna do it.
Oh my god, dude.
Wait, what's our entrance theme? If we go,
What's that?
what's our entrance theme?
Oh my god.
Is it his version of the wall?
Yeah, I feel like. See, I don't want to. Yeah, I'd have to go for that.
What if it's the actual wall?
Oh my god, dude! I am going to have to.
You're gonna have to do some research, man.
Well, yeah, because I don't want to just go for like the low hanging fruit. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, demo reel sucked, or like, oh, you know, your Channel Awesome is a shitty company who treated its employees badly. Although that would get like
Right, because the best blows aren't the ones that are super true.
Exactly. I have to like go into it like, oh, your critical analysis of this piece of media was flawed and incorrect, and I'm going to explain to you why.
Also, you prefer skim milk over whole milk, you skinny boned motherfucker.
Bitch.
You had a very bad receding hairline for an embarrassing amount of time before going.
You like
completely
cottage
bald.
cheese.
You know why you went bald? You know why you went bald? Because all of your employees left. Because you're a fuck, okay?
Just the worst.
You sound funny when you scream about a bat credit card.
Oh god, Discord did not pick up my scream at all. God damn it. Okay, and with that amazing joke at the end, I can hear the ambulance on its way right now, and ladies and gentlemen, we just had a stroke. Yay!
Paramedics. We're gonna be picked up by paramedics.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be picked up by paramedics when Doug Walker shoots us in the knees.
Oh my god.
When he has a gun.
Dude, it's gonna be
yeah,
Pillman
that's
has a gun all over again.
Oh my god, no.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Anyway, I would like to thank Chris for coming on to tonight's episode of the podcast.
It was absolutely wonderful coming on. I had a hell of a good time, and I'd love to do it again if you guys will have me sometime in the future.
Oh, definitely.
I have
have
no doubt that you're coming back.
Absolutely. And I will be sure to plug your guys' podcast if you're down with that. You know, on my radio show, Studio 2097 on Radio DePaul.
I am okay with it, Dominic. If you're okay with that, yeah.
This is, yeah.
Sure. Okay, then I'll be sure to do that at some point because this was really really fun, and I think that
Thank you.
I know a lot of people. Like in all seriousness, I know a lot of people that would really really enjoy a podcast like this. You know.
We need more people to have a stroke.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody needs to have a stroke. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me on here.
Everybody gets to have a stroke. Oh my god. Anyway, this has been We Are Having a Stroke. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and spread the word. Subscribe if you feel like this is cool and stuff. And yeah, my name is Joey, one of your co-hosts. Other co-host Dominic, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Love you.